May 27th, the first day of the Grand Finale, and it's quite a doozy. Let's get into it. So first off here, we have the Perseus. That's new. We had the Polaris previously, in case you guys missed the very first day of the sale. The Perseus is now available, which is awesome. 6 feet, that's a $60 worth of savings right there. That's a hell of a Warbond. And look at that, you got the Carrack. That's a match made in heaven right there. That is a great CCU chain if you're going to the Perseus. Or even, I suppose, beyond it to the few ships that are higher priced than it. Yeah, this is a great option here for the Carrack. The Liberator is a concept ship I would not recommend. You'll lose the savings. You won't lose any money, right? This will still be $40. But again, why would you spend 40? You only need to spend 15 from the Carrack. Doesn't make much sense to me. Erastra's in the same place. Holdee's in the same place. Like, these are all concept ships. All of them, down to the M2. I'm definitely not going to recommend spending $95 to save 60. So, terrible ratio. Hit the button on the Carrack, guys. If you're going to the Perseus or, again, beyond, then this is a match made in heaven right here. Speaking of the Carrack being common to have Warbond CCUs, we've got one here for the Carrack. Right away, saving you $40 off the top. Hull-D is still concept. Ironclad Assault. I mean, that's going to cost you $25 now. If this doesn't go to 600, this may be something to speculate on. Instead of buying the actual Carrack, you just wait for the Ironclad to raise in price. If you bought that non-Warbond CCU yesterday, or I guess the day before at this point, but definitely not today because it's $10 more. This one might be something you could conceptualize as a speculative CCU. Because you can go, if you bought this one, oh boy, let me see here. But I wouldn't buy it now. Like, I wouldn't buy this upgrade. I would just wait. But I can't imagine that the Ironclad doesn't increase $25. So I don't think I would just wait for the Ironclad to increase to whatever its price is going to be. It could be like $5.95 or something. It could be a $600 ship, though. I guess we'll see. So again, wouldn't use these top two. I think that's a bad play. If you're literally buying a Warbond CCU to the Carrack right now, I would not use the Hull-D or the Ironclad Assault. And the M2 Herc is $40 to save 60. It's still a good ratio, but here's the thing: if you got the $5 or even the $15 upgrade from the M2 to the Ironclad Assault, I mean, if you really want to lock in the savings, you're going to have to get the M2 today, right? $40 Warbond, buy it, and then you're locked in to this link in the chain. But you could also speculate, if you already have the M2 to Ironclad, speculate that the Ironclad doesn't hit 600. If that hits $5.95, that would be sweet, because it would be a $5 upgrade then instead of $25, right? And you wouldn't lose any potential savings, right? Because you would just wait for that purchase. But if you want to lock it in now, it's the M2. That's the only realistic choice. For instance, the Hull-D, it's at $550 right now for 10. All right, so just to be clear, this $10 savings, or this $10 cost, right, is going to be your best option for saving money. But the issue will come in to where you've got something to a Hull-D, probably, if you're doing concepts, speculation is probably going to be something like the Ironclad, right? Because that would be, what, a $15 upgrade right now from the Ironclad to the Hull-D. Both are concept ships. But what's going to happen is when the price increases, okay, you're going to go, whatever you like M2, you would go M2 to the Ironclad, right? Because that's a good $15 non-Warbond CCU right now. Then you do another $15 from the Ironclad to the Hull-D, right? And then you would go from the Hull-D to the Carrack for $10. But then all the prices of all those other ships increases. So you would go from a Hull-D, let's say it goes up $100. Let's say the Hull-D is a $650 ship when it releases, okay? Just for a ballpark idea here. If that goes to $650, right, instead of using the whole D to Carrack for $10 on a Warbond that you spent extra money for out of pocket, you're not going to use it. Because a whole D being $650, right? Stay with me now. Will go backwards to a $600 Carrack, and then you have a larger distance between the Carrack and something that's higher priced than the now $650 whole D. Understand? So what you would still end up doing is this. Let's say this is $650, so the Carrack wouldn't be here. The next one would be the Perseus. And it would be a non-Warbond. And it would be $100 less, so it'd still be $25. So you'd still have to spend $25 after burning your $10 from the whole D to the Carrack. Understand? Let me walk through that one more time. So right now you can buy this $10 upgrade from the whole D to the Carrack. Eventually the whole D will be over $600. I don't know where it's going to be. I used $650 just so we can do easy math. Maybe it's $625, right? Whatever it is. Okay. When this goes up in price, if you apply this upgrade to the Carrack after this increases in price, you will go back down to $600 for that chain. And then you have to go from the Carrack to the next greatest ship, and that would be like this. Where's the standard Carrack? Right here. There you go. That would work right now because there's a Warbond for it. So if you're buying the Perseus and you're going to the Perseus, this all works out, right? If you haven't bought the Perseus and you are going to the Perseus or higher, then you would be like this, right? Instead of spending $25 from the $650 whole D. I hope I explained that well enough. But that's why we tend to not use the concept ships over here on the left, because you go backwards in pricing when you apply it sometimes. I ran into that when I did, what did I do? It was like or maybe a Corsair to Ion or something, where I spent 10 in a Warbond from the Corsair as a concept ship to the Ion. Yeah, that was a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. Okay, so I don't want people to run into that in the future, because technically you'll be losing money because you just wouldn't apply the Carrack Warbond, because if the whole D was $650 now, you would just do $25 to get to the Perseus in a non-Warbond. Like, that's the way you would do it. But again, if you want to complete your chain earlier than when the prices will increase, none of this matters. If you're going to the Perseus and you have like 2 or 3 links left, and the Carrack is one of them because you can buy it right now, and then you want to go from the Carrack to the whole D and you already have a whole D, boom, done. Get it done right now because it's still going to save you money. Problem is in the future. If you hold them for a long time like me, you won't get those savings. That's all there is to it. So the M2 is the only one that I would work in today if I was going to the Carrack or beyond, and I wanted to grab this particular CCU. Yeah, this is the one I would probably get. But realistically, I would probably skip the Carrack today, and I would just keep my $5 M2 to Ironclad non-Warbond CCU and speculate on the end price of this being under $600. I only briefly touched on speculative non-Warbond CCUs for concept ships, so I'm going to cover a couple here because there are some good values here. The hull D to the Liberator, they're both specs, so as long as you can get to the hull D from another speculation, this might be a decent one to grab. The gist is both of these will increase in price. Both of them will also probably increase by the same amount. So this one would be an okay speculation. You could also do, like you could do the M2 Herc, but that's, I mean, it's $55 out of pocket. If I'm going to speculate, I'm going to go with the one that's going to save me the most right away, especially if they're both concept ships. So I'd probably go with this if I was going for the Liberator. The rest don't really make good sense. But the gist is you would use a speculation CCU to lock in the top price you could pay for the Liberator, for instance, at $575. Again, this ship will probably be beyond $600 when it launches. I'd be surprised if it only increased by $25. So that's the point there. The whole D, again, I'm not sure that this will be below $600 when it goes live. Again, it makes sense that it would increase more than $50, or at least $50, if not more than $50. Then, I mean, Ironclad is, I mean, they already upped the price. For those that missed my last update video, they increased the price of the Ironclad Assault by $10 yesterday, right before the Warbonds came out yesterday. So they're already increasing the price. I don't think they're actually intentionally increasing the price. My guess is an intern screwed up when putting in the price originally for the Ironclad Assault, and it was always supposed to be $535. Either that, or they gave a little bonus to those of us that are playing the CCU game. I'd take it as a win if you picked it up. If not, sorry, man, that sucks, because it's another $10 for you now. But anyway, so for the Liberator, that's really what I would do. I'd probably do the whole D, maybe the Ironclad, but it really makes sense to do the whole D because they're both speculative CCUs. And then the Ironclad Assault, I can use that as an example too. Like I said, this one was $5 yesterday, day before yesterday, and at some point yesterday morning, I don't know if it was before or after the new Warbonds hit, they upped the price by $10, so this is now $15. It's still a decent deal because the M2 is locking in. It's probably not going to increase in price until maybe way down the line, and the Ironclad is most certainly going to increase in price at least one more time before it launches. Again, this may be just under a $600 ship. Maybe it'll be right at $600. I don't know. So this is kind of the speculation that I was talking about. If you wanted to get the Carrack, you could just get this CCU and then hope that this price stays under $600 or lands right at $595, so you have a $5 upgrade to a Carrack. That would be ideal. As for the rest of these, I mean, you could do this, but it's 20 more bucks. It just doesn't make sense to go down the stack if you're using speculation. For speculation, you want to maximize your savings. Next up, we have the Valkyrie. I think we covered this previously, but let's take a look. Starfarer Gemini. That makes perfect sense. Price of the Gemini will probably increase when they do the gold pass and revamp the entire ship. They might even come out with like a new version, like what they did with the Hornets. It's totally feasible because that ship is such an old design. What else do we have here? I mean, Caterpillar adds $10 to it. Would not recommend that one, just because you're leaving money on the table, right? I mean, if you went with a Caterpillar, you'd pay $20 out of pocket, and you wouldn't have to worry because you probably, let's say you had a Caterpillar Warbond CCU already, something to the Caterpillar anyway. If you want to just do this step, you could, but the gist is it's the same amount of money here to do the same upgrade. So Warbond 10, so 10 fresh dollars in, and then you could spend the other 10 difference from a Caterpillar to a Gemini in store credit or something. So that's why I would still recommend this one, because it's 10 new dollars out of pocket, and you save the most money, right? Even if you have the Caterpillar already, because you will not get a Caterpillar to Gemini Warbond. There's not enough money in between to give like a $10 discount from the Gemini. You would be down to something below this, like the 315. So the Aquila, right? I think that one was I think that was on Misc Day, right? So yeah, Starfarer Gemini is the best choice here. The Caterpillar is next. $30 savings right off the bat. Vanguard Harbinger, that's the best choice. Yeah, $10 Warbond CCU to save 30. No brainer right there. If you have some of these others down the stack, I mean, the Medivac is, remember, it's a concept ship. We don't want to have that over here on the left. And anything else, you're just leaving too much on the table. Do the Harbinger. That's the right choice, I think. After the Caterpillar, the next one up is the Constellation Aquila. We had this one earlier in the Invictus week. It's had a few Warbonds in the past. Two of them are, well, one's today and one is, the 19th, so a couple days ago. And then the last one was in Invictus of last year. So it's relatively common now. Nothing before that I can remember. So this is kind of a new one that's just started hitting the Warbond CCU game. The Vanguard Sentinels and the Blade are probably equal choices here. The Sentinel has had like 2 or 3 at this point. One of them was back in February, right? And the Blade had one from like last year's Alien Week, I think, and I think that's about it. So, I mean, we've got Alien Week coming up at the end of this coming month, or middle, or whenever they choose to have it. Next month, how about that? Which the Blade has a high likelihood of coming up. It's not guaranteed, of course. But so I would probably pick the Sentinel. It seems like it's had more, and it comes up more often. And because the Blade is an alien fighter, they've only ever had one, and they are not going to put it in Invictus because it's alien. They save those for Alien Week, and however long that event runs, usually it's like 1 or 2 total for the event, and it's your ratios for these coming up are just kind of slim for whatever reason. I guess they could come up in IAE as well. I think that some of the other ones have come up during IAE, but the Blade has not. So again, ratio-wise, Vanguard Sentinel is a better choice. That's just what it boils down to. So I'd pick that one. After the Constellation Aquila, we've got the Harbinger. So $20 savings off the top, and we've got quite a few choices here. Let's see here. Let's see, the Vanguard Warden and the Mercury. I think the Wardens had 3, and the MSR, how many has the MSR had? Probably at least 3, 4, 5, maybe. MSR has had quite a few. Both are relatively common. Okay, when you compare the Warden, it's only had 1, right? So the Harbinger, which is over here on the right, the Harbinger has had 3 Warbonds in the past, so it is relatively common. This is a good one to use in a chain. The Vanguard Warden has only ever had 1, and it was last year, I think in St. Paddy's Day. Then the MSR, the Mercury here, has had quite a few, at least 5. So I would probably pick the MSR. This is the route I would go right here. Spend 10 to save 20, good deal. Triage is this if you use this one, you would lose money. You spend 20 to save 20, and the triage will, I don't know if you'd lose money. It may not hit 290. Yeah, it probably won't hit 290. It'd probably go up like $25 or something, but you wouldn't reap many savings, right? So you'd spend 20 here. This would go up to say 275. So you lose 5 in savings, so you'd only save $15. You'd still save money, but you'd spend more than you need to. That's speculation on the final price of the Apollo Triage, by the way, just to be clear. The Corsair, same price point, but it's not going to increase. Spend 20 to save 20. That's an okay ratio, but it's not the best. Same thing for the Inferno, the Ion, and the 400i. If for some reason you wanted to go this low, the Corsair has had like 5 Warbond CCUs. The Ions only had like 2 back when it was released. The Infernos had 1 very, very, very recently. And I think maybe 2 others. Plus, we'll get to that one today as well. So you could do this, right? Spend 20 to save 20, and then down below you're going to see the Ares Inferno listed for a Warbond as well. So you could make that chain complete today. But again, you're leaving some cash on the table, guys. This is the best choice. Spend 10, save 20, great ratio. Do that one. Just for everyone's information, the 400i was on the list too, right? Spend 20 to save 20. This one's had 3 Warbonds in the past, so it's also a decent choice if for whatever reason you already have it and you just wanted to make this jump and don't mind spending an extra $10. There you have it. It's not a terrible choice. After the Harbinger, we get down to the Ares Inferno. think I just mentioned this. 235 versus 250, saving 15 bucks. There's a couple choices here. The Raylan's still concept, so don't be confused that you think this is a Sulin or something. The Raylan is the cargo freight ship from the same manufacturer, of course, but it's not out yet. I think they were initially targeting this year, but I don't know if I've seen it on the tracker. So again, still a concept ship. And I mean, technically you'd leave money on the table as well. Really the best choice here is going to be the Antares. The Antares has had at least 3, maybe 4 Warbond sales in the past, $20 discounts as well. So it makes a decent choice, right? I mean, it's a $5 upgrade right now out of pocket, and most likely this one will come back around in the near term, or even maybe IAE or something. So good choice on this one. If you already had a Terrapin, which would be possible because it's had 2 Warbonds in the past, so let's say you already had this one, you could do this $15 upgrade too. Again, you're spending $10 additional dollars, missing out on some savings, but it's not like the worst choice ever. Defenders had a few as well. Hurricane's really leaving some money on the table here. You're only saving 15 and you'd have to spend 25. Bad ratio. I would not recommend. Next up is a Saber Firebird. I haven't covered it in a couple videos here during Invictus because it's been up the whole time, but I might as well go over it again now. We've got a $15 discount here right off the bat, and the Gladiators had 1 Warbond before, so it makes a good choice, plus it's the most savings. I guess the SRV is the same price. It's also had a couple Warbonds, right? Yeah, the SRV's had like 3, so this might be a better choice. And then the Prospector, I mean, you're leaving some money on the table, but it's had quite a few Warbonds. I think it's had like 2 this year already, 1 in February and 1 at the beginning of this event, or right before it. Maybe it was the Overdrive one. The Razor EX is not a good choice. It's never had a Warbond yet. And then the Tracker, I mean, you're just leaving so much money on the table for this one. When you get into the sub $200 ships, it's like the ratios decrease. So if you can get a $5 one for anything that's 200 or below for ship price, just grab it. I would not waste an additional $5 or $10 down the stack, because you're really cutting into the savings that are even possible down at that end. The best ones that I've seen are like spend 5, save 15, and those are gonna get probably more and more rare as they change prices on things. So I would definitely not go down the price stack at all. I would just say get the Gladiator or the SRV. They're the same price. SRV is probably more likely. At least it has been more likely in the past. So you take that with whatever grains or pounds of salt you want. It's one of these two are the best choice. It's up to you to decide which one fits into your chain better. Of course, the Retaliator is still available. Due to its revamp, it is going to probably stay for the rest of the event as well. I don't know why they would take it. And last but not least, we have the Cutlass Black. It is staying for today, at least, which is awesome. I get it. It's a discount that brings it back down to the previous price, but hey, it's still a discount for those folks that are joining that didn't even know that it increased $10 in price over the past couple years. Again, going back to this one, the Mako is the best value. Even if the Mako never comes up for a Warbond sale, it's only costing you $5 out of pocket today. Again, you can't use store credit to buy Warbond CCUs, but if you already had something like the Gladius, again, you could buy the $10 Warbond right now, but it would cost you $10 out of pocket, new charge, cash leaving your pocket, versus doing a Gladius to Mako for $5 of store credit. Again, if you have store credit. Yeah, if you don't have store credit, you could get this Gladius, right? That makes good sense. But the Mako is the best value. Right, so people that are going to play a long time, that aren't going to just go and apply all of these upgrades to ships to change them, we can wait it out, and maybe it'll fit into a different chain than we were anticipating originally, etc. That's just the way the game goes, right? I think I'm building 4 or 5 chains right now. I've only completed 2, 3. I think I've only completed 3 chains, and 2 of those I actually did prematurely, which is why I wait for everything now. So again, Mako for the Cutlass Black Warbond is the best value. I would recommend it. If you don't have any store credit, the Gladius is an okay choice as well. Again, only if you don't have any store credit and you just want to rush your chain to completion. What else do we have? The hull B, right? The whole, oh, it's hull A. What am I thinking? Hull A has also had, I think, 2 Warbonds, but it's been a while since the hull A has been. It's been a while. And again, it's $10, not $5. So I would go with the Gladius if I was going at the $90 price point. The Storm, Hull A are secondary choices. I think the whole Storm is, I don't know why it feels like it's not going to come back. It's like they do 1 or 2 for a ground vehicle if they do one, and then I never see it again. So I'm still saying the Gladius is probably the better choice out of these 3 $90 CCU links. Again, only if there's some reason you did not want to do the Mako. All right, well, we got through all 11 plus some concepts there. It's a heck of a day. They weren't kidding about this being a grand finale, huh? Well, I hope some of these CCUs find their way into your chains, and I hope you saved a bunch of money during this Invictus, and I will definitely have other videos for the final 2 days. Remember, the grand finale runs May 27th, 28th, and 29th, so if there are any changes at all, I will give you an update video. That's it for me, guys. Zi-Tek out.